Hi, I'm Christy Nieman, and I'm the Technology and Geospatial Content Manager at MapSherpa. And I'm going to give you a brief overview of how we use FME to aggregate and standardize information related to sales from multiple marketplaces. MapSherpa is designed to connect people who make maps with people who want to sell maps around the world. So we are a catalog of digital versions of print maps. We have relationships with publishers around the world and are licensed to provide their maps to our retailer network. So today's treatment, I'm going to give you a brief overview of MapSherpa, how we sell maps, what we need to collect about those sales of maps, how we are now standardizing that data, the workflow for achieving that, and the reports that we are getting out of that for business decisions and invoicing and fun things like that. So who are we and what do we do? So as I said, MapSherpa is a digital repository of maps that are intended to be for print. So we generally do not sell digital versions of the maps. We have two kinds of maps in MapSherpa: custom maps, where the user can search by place name, adjust the map extent, select the page size and orientation that they want. They can give a title. And then we have a collection of print-on-demand maps the user can search by keyword. These print-on-demand maps are pre-canned from the publisher. There's no customization. So MapSherpa Kiosk is our front-end tool for our partners who have physical stores. Our retail partners will order maps for their clients, and MapSherpa gives them download links that they can print. They are also able to integrate our API into their web stores. These are our digital sales. This is an example of customizing a map in Kiosk, where you can search, center the map, set your title, your page size, and orientation, and make adjustments to the extent. We also have agreements in place with many of our publishing partners that allow us to sell their maps in marketplaces like Amazon and through our own e-commerce site. So we print and sell maps directly to customers too. Currently, we sell maps on Amazon in Canada, the US, and the UK. And then we have our own e-commerce site, maptrove.ca in Canada and maptrove.com in the United States. The royalty model for paying the publishers is different from one that we calculate automatically on digital sales. So we need to handle this when we process financial information every month. We also have to calculate production costs based on rules we have established for our printing partners. So what we need is to have all of our sales related data in one place. When our sales volume was relatively low, it was feasible to accumulate and calculate everything manually, but it was prone to error. And now we're at the point where it's not practical. And for the last year, we have been refining a database solution that combines all the relevant data and then also a front-end solution showing some reports. So this solution is needed to drive retail partner invoicing, so our brick and mortar relationships, supplier billing, our map publishers and our printers, and making business decisions. So we need to collect sales information from the three sources: MapSherpa digital sales and the Amazon and MapTrove print sales. We need to standardize all the sales and returns from the three sources, calculate printing costs for the print sales and data royalties, collect all sales fees, such as transaction fees, marketplace fees. We use PayPal, so PayPal fees. And then we need to display all this information once it's been collected in useful ways for decision making. So this is an overview of where our workspace was about 3 months ago. It's changed a little bit since then. First, we have the block at the top, which is where records are pulled from our own MapSherpa database. And then the big block in the middle is everything for getting Amazon records. And down at the bottom, we have retrieving PayPal information through their API and processing MapTrove sales. And then finally, everything gets written into a Postgres database. So MapSherpa's backend database is CouchDB. We store all sales and returns of digital or retail partner sales in the database, along with orders created to retrieve the PDFs print sales for Amazon and MapTrove. We also send maps into Amazon's fulfillment network. So we have partial records for those maps as well. So the easy part of all of this is getting the data out of our own database. It's just a handful of transformers, few custom transformers, basically get stuff out of Couch, clean up a few attributes, do a little bit of extra things for the inventory that's going into Amazon to get pricing information from an external spreadsheet, and then it gets sent to the database. MapTrove, we get a monthly export as a comma separated values sheet from the Magento database. It includes all e-commerce sales and returns from MapTrove, and it's the additional part of the MapTrove records that we already have in Couch. And then we also have to get information from the PayPal API with respect to PayPal fees for each transaction. So this is a little bit more complicated. The PayPal part's pretty straightforward. Just make a request, format the response, do some attribute cleanup and filtering. And then for the bottom part there with MapTrove's CSV, basically read in the records, format them, join to the PayPal records, and then join that to the MapSherpa records. So we have information about the sale and the map. And then all the attributes get set appropriately. And then finally, we have our Amazon sales. We use 3 parts of the Amazon MWS API to get information from the Amazon marketplace. We use the Finances API to get all individual financial transactions. And then we use the Orders API to get some extra information, such as the shipping province for tax purposes. And then finally, we use the Reports API to get information about warehouse location for Fulfilled by Amazon orders. So this is the block in the middle of the workspace. Basically, top left, the 3 blocks are to get information out of Finances and Orders APIs. We do some joining together and attribute cleanup. And sort of the top center, the orange block in the middle, is taking the transactions information and joining them to the MapSherpa database. And then on the left at the bottom deals with returns and getting the different fee components for returns. And top right is dealing with orders and getting different fee components for orders. And then after a whole bunch of attribute manipulation, it gets output to the database. We also have 2 additional Google Sheets that contain pricing information for print maps and printing costs. 1 Google Sheet document per currency for print retail prices in Canadian, US dollars, and pounds, and 1 Google Sheet with printing cost calculations for each of our printing partners. So this is pretty straightforward. We just grab some stuff out of Google, do a little bit of attribute cleanup. So we have 4 tables that contain all the data we currently need. Transactions table, which is records for sales, returns, and marketplace fees. A printing table, which records the printing costs for each sale transaction that we had printed ourselves. A licensors table that has the data royalties that we owe for every transaction. And a shipping table that records when we use Amazon Buy Shipping. And then these 4 tables are combined in various ways to make views for our reports. So basically, the output part of the workspace has data coming in on the left from digital sales, Amazon sales, MapTrove sales, and occasionally we have reprints and replacements that have to get processed. Then the pink on the top right is calculating printer costs. The gray on the bottom right is calculating license fees, and then it's output to the printers table, the transactions table, the licensors table. The shipping costs actually happens in another workspace. So there was one main piece that was missing in FME. We needed to be able to talk to the Amazon MWS API. So I wrote a Python script to handle that. It's inside a custom transformer that is pretty basic in there, but it takes your API credentials, your API path, the parameters for the request, and it returns either XML or text. And Sometimes when you make too many requests because you have many sales you need to get information for, you start getting throttled on the API, so you can set your time to wait to make another request. We make requests to 3 of the MWS APIs, the finances, orders, and reports. And so currently that's all that the transformer has been tested with. And it outputs either XML or plain text when possible. So some reports come back as either tab separated or comma separated values. And since no one place has all the information we need, we make calls to the 3 APIs and combine the data together for each sale. Our basic workflow is information from our sales channels and extra information related to costs. Everything goes into FME, which gets put into Postgres. And then the output part is currently in Google Data Studio, which connects to our database. And we have printer reports, licensor reports, marketplace summaries with respects to fees, products performance, and things like that. The current endpoint of all this is a collection of Google Data Studio reports, which allows us to quickly put together the reports that we need and make changes as necessary. So as I mentioned, we have several views that have been created from the 4 main tables to satisfy the report requirements. And that allows us to optimize for each report without having to have multiple places to update the base data. So in combining all of our sales and production data in one place, we now have a more efficient way to do billing, invoicing, and planning. Thank you.